Hi, I'm Jennifer with Martingale, and I have a trunk show for you today of quilts from A New Twist by author Nancy Mahoney. What I have to share with you are 12 quilts that Nancy makes from 6 easy to make blocks. And what she does is takes each of these blocks, sets them side by side. None of them have any sashing, but she twists and turns them so each quilt that you see features a block, and it has a companion that uses that same block set in a different way. So, ready? Here we go. The first quilt is called In Flight. And this quilt has 4 identical quadrants rotated so that they radiate out from the center. Beautiful quilt made with half square triangles. That is In Flight. Now, here's the new twist that she's done with that block and taken it to a 2-color quilt, rotated the blocks in the setting and set them in alternate directions. So that's the same block as you saw in Flight. This one's called Flying Formation, and it creates a whole different look. Next up, On the Road. And this one is using the Road to Oklahoma blocks. It has 3 colors, the red, the white, and blacks, and mixed in with the blacks are grays. And it's a variety of prints for all of the whites, a very scrappy mix of prints. And her placement of the red with this block creates this Irish chain look in the background. So this one is called On the Road. And then the variation to that is Crisscross Paths. And again, a 3-color quilt using purples and whites and greens. In this case, the whites are not scrappy. They're all made with single solid white. But her placement of the greens and her placement of the blocks in the rotation, they're all rotated the same way in this case. So it creates those diagonal chains, but gets rid of sort of that Irish chain background that was in the alternate. So that's Crisscross Paths. This next beauty is a big one, and it is called Hard Candy. So Hard Candy is made with the Hovering Hawks block. She's used multicolor prints, obviously, from looking at this, and careful placement of her black prints to create that diagonal that you see going along here. And it also helps set off these squares on points that are surrounded by the white. And again, it's all just about careful color placement and how you're rotating your blocks. So this is called Hard Candy. And its new twist is Lime Saltwater Taffy. And this has, again, 3 colors as opposed to the multicolor of the other. But what I want you to notice here is the blocks are set in the same direction, but she alternated them by row. So that's what gives you sort of that zigzag effect by alternating every other row of blocks. So Lime Saltwater Taffy. All right. Now my able assistant won't maybe have to hold up so much because I've gotten to small enough quilts. But this one is called Flying Home. And it uses a variety of 30s prints in it for that scrappy mix. And what's fun about this is Nancy is sort of an expert at paper piecing, and so she shares with you her tips for foundation paper piecing to make these perfectly pointed flying geese and to make it easy. And then her color option for this one, or her new twist, I should say, not color option, is a wreath of geese. So you'll notice on this one that the geese are going around around the square, and then her careful use of black fabric, a solid black, helps add sort of the rings or the squares on point as they go around. This is called Scotch Plaid. And Scotch Plaid uses a variation of the traditional Scotch block. It has those triangle units in it to add interest. And Nancy made this version out of all batiks. The new twist on this block comes in the form of colorful window panes. And again, the way that she rotates the block, her placement of color, Here you see sort of those square in a square in a square with the black shapes that are floating in the background. Boxed jewels. This block goes by a lot of different names. Buckeye Beauty, Going to Chicago, Jacob's Ladder, and Railroad Crossing are all some that you might have heard of. There are only 2 units in this quilt, 4 patches and triangle squares, but a very scrappy mix and a placement of a lot of low volume white prints in the background makes this a real sparkler. I love that quilt. Now maybe that's a little more scrappy than you like. So she also made faceted jewels. And this one, she used shades of teal for the background colors. And then also you can see her rotation of the block from the center. You see how it facets out on the corners and just giving you a whole different look. So a new twist by Nancy Mahoney. 12 quilts made from 6 blocks, all set in unique and interesting ways. You can find it wherever you buy books, or it's also available at shopmartingale.com.